So we are at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and we are here to film mosquitoes in glorious close-up.
This mosquito species that we're working with comes from the tropics, and so when you work in sectaries like this where they're breeding thousands of these every single day, we need to recreate those conditions, essentially the tropical rainforest, which is great for the mosquitoes but not so good for us.
You eventually learn to love them as you kind of get used to them, and especially you start to learn certain behaviors of insects that you probably never would have thought about. It's like having a bunch of pets, like a farm or a zoo.
I think in making a film about a malaria vaccine, I didn't necessarily think that we would find ourselves here. The mosquito is like our model for the week. It's our superstar. We want to see them in all of their glory.
We've just finished the arm feeding shot, so we've had a mosquito feeding on someone's arm and then taking off in slow motion. It looked amazing. Really big distended mosquito full of blood, really struggling to fly and take off.
So when we were looking originally for good macro photography of mosquitoes, there's some feeding behaviour that's been captured, but the vast majority of that feeding behaviour is on white skin. And it was really important to us that we film someone with darker skin.
I could feel when she was feeding, but it's not. It's not painful.
It's not Caucasian people that malaria today predominantly affects, and so it feels really important that that's represented in the imagery that we're creating.
No matter how careful we are with trying to stop these mosquitoes from escaping, there's always the odd one that does escape. Every member of the crew is armed with a net, with one of these things, an aspirator, or a pooter as we like to call them. There she goes, down towards you. Oh, there we go. And the special electric tennis racket which can zap them from midair, which is, thank you very much, this thing here. So we can we try not to use this because it does fry the mosquitoes, but yeah, I like to be able to collect them with this thing. We've got 1 second worth of action. We capture it by triggering it, so it's a bit like one of those buttons that the weather presenter uses, but as soon as it happens, then Rob is on the trigger, capturing it right at that very moment. Of all the things that I do in my job as an insect wrangler, a bug wrangler, I think this is by far the hardest. Trying to film them flying but in a static position, and so I need to hold it in frame, and the way that I do that is to attach a tether to the back of the insect. It's a bit like putting a dog on a lead. I've got these very, very fine wires. They're about the thickness of a human hair, and so I need to glue the end of this wire onto the back of a very, very tiny biting insect.
But I don't think I really, truly appreciated just how incredible they are. And ultimately, all they're trying to do is survive. And they do it in quite an extraordinary way.
Here we go. All right, ready for our close-up.